Okay, how bad is it? We've seen a little sample size of Bronny James. I think he's got 4 Summer League games under his belt, but I wanted to dig into this a little bit deeper. I have a bad habit of only doing videos on stuff that I personally care about. Today, I chose a topic that everybody except for me pretty much cares about. So we're going to talk about Bronny James, where he came from, whether he should have been drafted, whether he should have got the contracts he got, what he measures compared to other players, and how he's doing so far in Summer League, and whether there's any hope for this poor kid to make it in the National Basketball Association. That's what today's video is about. It's not going to be long. I just want to hit some bullet points, and really I want to see kind of where you guys stand. I have a feeling where most of you are going to stand, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Preconceived notions and perceptions regarding Bronny James. So hopefully you enjoy the video. PWCC is a great way to sell your sports cards. If you're looking for a way to support the Cajun Cardboard YouTube channel, consider using the promo code Cajun, all caps, CAJUN, when you're selling your cards on the PWCC marketplace. All right, it's about Bronny James. That's what this video is about. Let's just start from the very beginning. Let me get you over here on screen share. Let's just start with in high school. Bronny James, people talked about it for the longest time when it was finally realized, in middle school that LeBron James' oldest son, Bronny, remember, he's got a younger brother who's better than him, but we're talking about Bronny today because he's the topic of conversation. And to be honest with you, other than Reed Sheppard, he's like the most talked about player in NBA Summer League so far. So let's start at the very beginning. Well, not the very beginning, because in middle school, I think people realized, well, LeBron's kid looks pretty good. He might be a pretty good basketball player. He's probably got a chance to play college basketball. We went through all this crap with Michael Jordan's kids. A lot of people forget. I think Marcus and Jeffrey might have been their names. I don't even remember, to be quite honest with you. One of them ended up being pretty dang good, little mid-level college, Division I college basketball player. The other one I don't think ever turned out to be much, but I don't think either one of them even remotely sniffed the NBA, regardless of their last name or their father's wishes. In contravention to that, let's look at Bronny's high school numbers. I've got it kind of highlighted here for you on the screen. Just a quick blurb. In his final season of high school basketball, Bronny broke out. Broke out is the term, and averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 2.4 assists and 1.8 steals a game. That is not breaking out. I had 4 players on my high school basketball team that averaged those numbers, and they did not get drafted. He was named to the McDonald's All-American game. That was the first indication of extreme, absurd, influential nepotism right there. The fact that somebody on a loaded super team at Sierra Canyon averaging 14, 5, 2, and 1.8 steals would be named to an McDonald's All-American game. That is click chasing, that is view chasing, that is hype chasing, that is putting asses in the seats chasing. That is not a just reward. That is a spot. And again, every single thing I've heard about this kid, Bronny James, has been that he is pure class. 100% class. Respectful, fantastic kid. I say kid, human being, man. Everybody has had nothing but positive things to say about him personally, as a human being, as a teammate, stuff like that. I've never heard anything bad about that. 14, 5, 2, and a couple steals does not get you into the McDonald's All-American game. There are 50,000 players in America who put up those numbers. And so that is just, a far cry from a deserving reward. He took the spot of a more deserving player. So that's evidence of nepotism, number one. Let's just move along on to the college scene, right? And let's start with, he came out of Sierra Canyon. He went to USC. He was on, at USC. He did not get off to the best start. I know there was a little bit of friction between LeBron and the coach about how they're using him. Well, after a preseason and after all that stuff, and I know he had a little heart issue as well, but when we're going to throw that out the window because it is what it is. If he's playing basketball, I'm assuming he's healthy. He played for an absolutely terrible USC team by all standards. If you even look at his minutes, this is what the coach thought of him. 16 minutes, 14 minutes, 18 minutes, 14 minutes, 20 minutes, 18 minutes, 19 minutes, 15 minutes. Have you ever in your entire life heard of a Division I Power 5 conference team recruiting a McDonald's All-American? Keep in mind, there's like 24 of those a year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 26, 28. I don't know. I think it's like 24. Recruiting McDonald's All-American, and then the kid is not good enough to really get on the floor and help your team. These are Bronny's stats. 36% from the field on the year. 48% from 2. 26% from 3 with 63 pointers attempted, and a paltry, horrific 67% from the free throw line. So bad 2-point shooter, bad 3-point shooter, bad free throw shooter. Didn't really rebound the ball. I think they wanted him to be a point guard because he's tiny, and he had 53 assists in 25 games. That's a shade over 2 assists. He blocked 5 shots in 25 games. He's not. I keep hearing about how elite his defense is. We've never had any indication that his defense is elite. I've never seen it. I mean, I don't know where that kind of narrative came from that, well, don't worry about his shooting. That'll come. He's Avery Bradley, or he's, Lou Dort. He's got prototypical NBA size and athleticism. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have prototypical NBA size and athleticism. We're about to look at that as well. Keep in mind, in 25 college basketball games, he scored double figures 3 times. He didn't even take more than 10 shots, but twice in his entire career, and he had a career high of 15 points. The most boards he ever got was 6, and he never had, he never had more than 6, he had 7 assists in one game against Oregon. Again, terrible team, absolutely horrific PER. Which is a pretty good measure of how relevant and valuable a player is. 10.8 PER is absolutely disastrous. 43.8 effective field goal percentage is almost impossible. That is absolutely terrible by any standards. So again, in high school, no indication he was a McDonald's All-American. In college, no indication he deserved a full scholarship to attend Southern California. Played for a terrible team, performed terribly. No indication that he would be draft eligible or draft worthy, I should say, for whatever reason, maybe to hide his shortcomings instead of transferring to another school, a smaller school, a tiny school, Division I maybe, and trying to play and put up numbers. We bumped him up to the NBA per LeBron's wishes. I know that playing with LeBron James had to have something to do with that, being the first father-son, the attention. The Lakers were, of course, all for it. They're going to sell a bazillion jerseys. It's going to be heartfelt. It's going to be awesome. And I will tell you, it is unbelievable and difficult to kind of comprehend a basketball player playing with his son in the NBA. It's, a credit to LeBron James more so than it is to his son Bronny, who, again, I've concluded, obviously, he doesn't necessarily belong there, and it's really not really any fault of his own. He was sort of ushered into this situation, but the fact that an NBA player is playing with his son is just bananas. We saw Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Jr. playing with his dad, Ken Griffey Sr., who was a Reds legend from the Big Red Machine. And we've seen it a couple times in other sports like that, but I don't think we've ever seen it in football or basketball where your longevity sort of, your shelf life as an NBA player is much shorter. So let's look at something real quick, because I keep hearing, well, he's got the size, skills, the intangibles, the tools. I haven't seen it, and, this is not an opinion. This is the average this is draftexpress.com. These are the average heights of a player at each position. The first thing I'm going to say is Bronny James is not a point guard. He is absolutely in no way, shape, or form a point guard. As you saw, he averaged 2 assists in high school. He averaged 2 assists in college. You can put a player at the point guard position. That does not make them a point guard. Avery Bradley is not a point guard. Lou Dort is not a point guard. I'm trying to think of some of these other, players that, he's not a point guard. Like, watch him play basketball. The kid's not a point guard. The average height of a shooting guard from Draft Express at the Combine with a 10 sample size was 6'4.5" without shoes. Bronny James measured 6'1.5" without shoes. So he's significantly short for his position. Wingspan, Bronny James. Let's go down here, and then we're going to compare it to the other shooting guards. Why did I just lose that? There he is. 6'7" wingspan for Bronny James. The average wingspan for a shooting guard is 6'8" and a quarter. And that's at this combine for Bronny James. Again, he's not meeting, without going into too much more detail, he's short. Doesn't have an elite wingspan. He's given no indication that he is an elite defender. His standing reach is significantly shorter. His wingspan is significantly shorter. His hand length is significantly shorter. His height is significantly shorter. The only thing where he meets the criteria of an average shooting guard at the NBA Combine is his weight, which is allegedly 210. I don't know if I'm buying that either, just based on what I've seen. But that's what we're working with right there. Let's just start looking at his NBA box score. So we've gone, high school, we've gone college, we've gone draft combine. Let's go to his box scores. And I think I've got these in chronological order. Y'all correct me if I am wrong on this. First game, 22 minutes, 2 for 9, 0 for 3, 0 for 2 free throws, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, no blocks, no turnovers, minus 15, 4 points. It doesn't get much worse than that. Again, Dalton Connect wasn't great either, and he's actually looks like he's going to be a pretty decent player. Of course, he was the SEC Player of the Year, not a backup combo guard at USC who sucked. So, and again, that's why he was drafted where he was, and plus he has very good size and strength. He reminds me a little bit of a little more athletic Austin Reeves. That's what I've seen from Dalton Connect, but again, it's Summer League, you can't really tell. Keep in mind, Summer League competition is absolute trash. I am going to try to stop cussing on this channel. Summer League competition is very poor. We'll just put it at that. It's a chaotic, disjointed game. But Bronny James' first game was a big, fat L. Let's go to his second game, and it was the Heat versus the Lakers. And I might have these. Out of chronological order. 29 minutes, so we got a little bit larger sample size, almost, regular NBA starter minutes. 29 minutes, 1 for 3, missed another three-pointer, 1 for 2 free throws, 5 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks is good, 5 stocks is good, plus 8 in his minutes on the floor in a game where your team loses means you were doing something. So positive in the plus minus, positive in the steals and blocks, decent rebounds and assists. He was doing some other things, but it looked like he realized I don't need to be shooting a basketball because I can't do it. Again, 1 for 3, 0 for 1, 1 for 2, not great. We're going to give him a C for that second game because he did show signs of being relevant defensively. Third game against the Rockets, they just get absolutely skull drug here, destroyed, trashed. And then this was where he decided, you know what, I'm going to assert myself offensively, and boy, was that a mistake. 3 for 14. Over 8 threes, and they used to tell kids that couldn't shoot the basketball, hey, you're open for a reason. Well, the reason is he can't make it. So his sample size is now growing. He is now, whatever the number is, 1 for 15 or whatever, 3 for 14 from the field, 0 for 8 threes. He made both his free throws. That's a good sign. But again, just more evidence he's not a point guard. He had the fewest assists on the team for all 5 starters with 0. He did steal the ball 2 times, no blocks, 3 turnovers. So he's got a negative assist turnover ratio there, minus 9 in the box score plus minus. And again, they got destroyed by the Rockets and the great Reed Shepherd, the Summer League legend Reed Shepherd. Let's go on to his next game, and this was with the Celtics. And I think he's only played 4 games. I might have this wrong. Again, it's just more of the same. it seems to be getting worse, to be quite honest with you. 1 for 5, 0 for 3 threes, didn't take a free throw, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers. Again, a negative assist-turnover ratio. More evidence he's not a point guard. Minus 22 on that one. And then to really top things off, and I know this is going to sound petty, and I'm not. It sounds like I'm hating on a kid. I'm not. I feel like he's taking minutes in a summer league game. There's a player, for instance, there's a player from here, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that I got a chance to coach that played for LSU. That was a very good player in the SEC for 4 full years, who would be able to come in and contribute on a much, much higher level, playing the exact same position, who is 5 inches taller, 25 pounds heavier, a better shooter, a better defender, a better ball handler, and a better passer, who didn't even get a spot on an NBA Summer League roster. And so maybe that's why I'm flaming Bronny a little bit here. But the evidence is just overwhelming and incriminating. But to put the cherry on top, Bronny wins the Call of Duty tournament during the 2024 NBA Summer League. And look, I don't mean to throw shade, but like, this is just a bad look. He beat another absolute phenom, Grant Williams, in Call of Duty tournament, and he won a $10,000 prize. Not that he needs it, because he signed a contract he didn't deserve, but just Bronny James winning a video game tournament, in my opinion, is just, it's like icing on the cake. It's like the cherry on top. It's like, man, the kid spent a lot of time playing video games. He probably should have been shooting a basketball. And I'm sure the kid puts in work. And I know he puts in work, because every single account about him is that he tries his butt off. People like him. Teammates like him. For the most part, coaches like him. I just don't think he belongs where he's at, and I don't think he would be where he's at if his last name wasn't James. I just don't. And that's my take on it. I am curious to see, is the sample size too small? If you expand the sample size to college and you expand the sample size even more to high school, it's just not there. There's never been any shred of evidence that he belongs in the NBA, but for his last name. So I want to know what you guys think. Am I just jumping the gun? I don't want to root against the kid, but at the same time, I'm looking at it from the perspective of all these other guys who maybe didn't get a summer league roster spot and didn't get that chance to show what they got. I feel like he belongs in Iceland, not on the Los Angeles Lakers. What is the over-under on how many games he actually plays in the NBA this year? Does J.J. Redick have control of this? Is J.J. Redick going to be able to say, there's no way I'm putting this kid in a game? He does not help our team in any measurable way on an NBA basketball floor. And then LeBron says, get him in the game. We got to sell tickets. We got to spend time on the court together. He's my son. I want him to travel with us. Well, if LeBron's saying, travel with me, travel with me, travel with me, and that's his son, I get all that. But like, now you're taking away from the kid's development, where he should be in the G League getting reps and getting minutes to see if he is an NBA player. 4 summer league games. We've had other players with horrific summer leagues. So it is a small sample size, but if you expand that sample size, we had 25 games in college to do something. He didn't do anything there either. He was not productive, not a good college basketball player, not necessarily an elite high school basketball player, and he's repeatedly been given awards, accolades, and attention that he doesn't deserve and didn't even necessarily ask for, to be quite honest with you. And that's the tough part about this, is like, this kid didn't ask for the hyper scrutiny that he's getting. Why is Bronny James the most talk? And I'm doing it here on the channel because I think it's important to kind of remind you guys, Bronny didn't ask for this crap. He's the second most talked about player in Summer League so far. Maybe Dalton Connect, who's on his team, is getting more hype right now, but that's probably because he's on the same team. And then again, the Lakers get all the hype anyway. But Reed Shepherd's been the standout in Summer League. I just wanted to throw this video out there with my perspective on Bronny James. I feel for the kid to some extent, but then again, you just gave him like $7+ million and a guaranteed contract when it's pretty much a guarantee he doesn't belong in the NBA. So that's sort of there's some incongruity there, to say the least. Let me know what you think about Bronny James in the comments. Let me know if I'm jumping the gun. Let me know if I'm spot on. And let me know if I missed anything. And maybe you've seen something. If you guys have seen something, a flash, something like that from Bronny in one of these 4 Summer League games, maybe you've watched it a little bit closer than me, let me know what I'm missing. Let me know what you think Bronny James' absolute absolute mega uber upside is, best case scenario. And then I'll let you know why I think he's probably going to be playing in, Sicily or Reykjavik or, Zagreb at some point in the near future. So thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting as always. Stay positive in the hobby, and peace.